Action Jackson, it's another spoiler review. Time to suck its dick.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah.
Okay, guys, so Mike, Jay, we're here to bring you another spoiler, and this is going to be on Elysium. So if you haven't seen the fucking non-spoiler, if you've seen the movie and you don't want to know what, fuck it. If you've seen the movie and you want to talk, let's talk. So Matt Damon gets his iPod 16 attached to the back of his head, okay, after he gets exposed to radiation and he's dying.
It looks like a camera menu.
I know, but it's like the future, and it's like one of the shittiest fucking. It's like DOS. It's on the back of his head, DOS. It's like that's stupid. But anyway, so after he gets exposed to radiation, he's got 5 days to live. They strap this iPod 19,000 whatever on the back of his head, and he's all jacked up now, and he can fight like one of the robot things. And he contacts this guy named Spider, which does the initial operation to get all this stuff on him. And then he's like, you're going to break into Elysium, and here's what you're going to do. You're going to get this billionaire first. You're going to get a billionaire that comes to Earth every once in a while, and you're going to steal all the information in his head, because apparently you can download shit from people's brains, which they didn't really... I didn't even know that is possible.
He's got a USB port in his head.
I know. He's like, click it. Music time, iTunes. But you can do that, and what they want to do is they want to get bank accounts, codes, and shit like that from this billionaire, that whoever they pick. And... so they want to use Matt Damon to do that. Since he has only 5 days to live, he has nothing to lose, and he's willing to do it. Yeah. And by the way, he's also like a recovering
alcoholic
criminal. No, he's a criminal. He used to be a criminal, but he's trying to work a steady job. And like I said, he gets exposed to radiation, he's going to die. So
well, his character was interesting at that point, because in the beginning he was like, "I'll do anything to get to Elysium and get my childhood friend to Elysium."
No, that guy.
No, I'm talking about Matt Damon.
Oh yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah. It was interesting because he was like, "I'll do anything." Like he was stealing and shit like that, and they could have done more with that storyline, but then all of a sudden they're like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like they stopped focusing completely on Matt Damon's character, and I was just like, oh well, I guess he's just.
Well, that's the thing, is because Matt Damon was supposed to be. I think they were trying to make him a complex character, because he has this childhood friend, which is the girl, and she has a daughter that's dying of leukemia, and he gets stabbed at one point by Krueger because they have this big fight, and he goes to her house and she fixes him up, and then she's telling him that my daughter's dying of leukemia, please take her with you. And the only way that you can go to Elysium and get that healing thing that they lay in is you have to have this DNA code on your skin. And she doesn't have one. He's telling her, he's like, I can't take her with me because she has to have this, and this is only linked to me, so I can't take her. And he's like, he doesn't give a fuck. He's only caring about himself, and he only wants to cure himself, so he doesn't care about this little girl. And so, but towards the end of the movie, he finally realizes what they make the discovery that what he downloaded from the what's his name,
William Fichtner.
William Fichtner. What they download from him, which William Fichtner is in charge of Elysium's like defense and shit, all that stuff. They download all the codes to reset the entire system, to reset everything on Elysium, and basically make everybody a citizen.
Everyone's allowed.
So once Matt Damon discovers all this and he goes up there, he basically sacrifices himself. Because once they upload the shit from his brain, he's gonna die. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's lethal. He's dead, and he makes the sacrifice to give everybody citizenship on Elysium and ultimately save that little girl that he says,
it's hokey technology to me. I mean,
it is hokey.
When they put all that shit on him, it's like, like they never really explain like how that helps him be more badass. Like I get the download thing in his head, right? Like that's part of the reason why they put that thing on him. But this thing was supposed to make him like physically better too. Yeah. But all that really happened was he was just like, oh.
I think it was
like
just,
they never go into detail on that.
I guess maybe it was just a temporary fix on him. It was like boosting his immune system for a little while, because it said it hooks into your nervous system, which makes you as strong as the little was. And by the way, I'm going to mention this. I didn't mention this in the non-spoiler because I forgot, but I just now remembered, and it's fun. Those robots in Elysium, dude, they look just like the fucking robots in Total Recall.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, almost exactly like them.
That's true.
And
it looked like Halo.
That whole thing was almost a rip-off.
But that's another thing we talked about. Like, okay, so he goes over there and he breaks in, and they made this big build-up to where... Well, no, first off, let's talk about Krueger in this whole situation. Jodie Foster, we talked about in the last video, has this terrible French accent. The audio track is off from her mouth, so there's like a 1 second delay. It doesn't even look like she's talking. It looks like it was a bad Chinese movie dub. Like, it looks terrible. And they just completely ruined her character by giving her this French accent she didn't need.
Yeah, that was stupid.
And then, on top of this, speaking of accents, Krueger, who's like their one-man defense system, it's like, you live in this huge freaking thing, this rich place, you can cure cancer by getting in and getting sprayed by some shit in like this little like tanning bed.
Yeah.
But yet your defense is some hobo that lives on Earth that has a missile launcher.
I'm gonna tell you this, I didn't get him at all, because this is why. First they say he's a sleeper agent that works for Jodie Foster, who is the defense secretary of Elysium, right? So the thing about him is he's a sleeper agent, like I said, and I guess he's supposed to be inconspicuous. That no one's supposed. That's the whole point. He's a sleeper agent, so he's not supposed to know. Nobody's really supposed to know he's there or anything. But at one scene, he's sitting on a fucking rooftop in downtown Chinatown or something, like cooking grills, and going ah ha ha ha, like being so stupid. And then they find out he's getting fired, getting laid off because they don't want to use him anymore. And then he gets pissed and kicks over his hot dogs and shit off the roof. But at the beginning, so he's obviously out there, and he doesn't care that everybody knows who he is. But when they first introduce him, he's wearing like this Darth Maul cloak and walking all like menacing and shit, and nobody. And then all of a sudden it's like Krueger's been activated, and then he takes his missile launcher out and destroys these ships that are trying to get to Elysium.
And he's like in Grown Ups when all the girls are hooting and hollering over that guy by the pool, and he's like all muscular and stuff, and he walks over, he's like, "I'm from Saskatchewan," It's like that because when he speaks, he's like, "I'm going to get you."
Well, he is. And if you guys, it's one of those movies that you may or may not have seen, Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan, and you remember the guy that played Undertaker in the wrestler Undertaker. He was this big built guy, and then when Hulk Hogan knocks into the wall, he like dusts himself off. And he's like, "You're a dead man, Ramsey." It's like it was the same way. You're like that came out, and then Hulk Hogan's like, "No wonder you guys never talk." Like it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think the guy was terrible as an actor. I just think that for some reason his accent jived poorly with his character, and every time he spoke, it was just unintentionally funny.
The thing is with him,
like, "Fuck yeah!"
I know. I'm going to have sex with you, baby. That's how it was.
That was
I know,
good,
but
actually.
the thing is, I just like I guess he's got an Australian accent or a New Zealand accent, and I think it's fine that his voice is a little higher than it should for a man his size. That's fine. I mean, he has small testicles. That's okay. Don't worry about your little pecans. But the thing is about him, I think his lines were so bad and how he delivered them and his timing on it. That's what made him look stupid.
We're talking about the way here. He was like a bad version of Zod. It was like if he was.
Yeah, he was.
Zod, he's like, "I will find him."
He's like walking down the hall. He's like, "You can't run from me." And then like Matt Damon and him, they have this fight on Elysium, and Matt Damon like gets flown over like this railway and grabs the back of his iPod because he's like jacked up like him too and has this robot shit and pulls it out of his head, and like you think this guy'd be super pissed now, and he was like, "You're full of spirit, eh?" Like it was like, are you trying to be? It almost made me think, dude, hey, he had probably watched Gangs of New York and was trying to be Daniel Day-Lewis for that movie.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and not just that, but I mean, it looks and it sounds and it acts just like Project 9 did, only like a bigger budget. But it still looks the exact same. It looks like a found footage film from South Africa. Like, I will say that the great thing about it is the special effects are the shit in this movie.
They're very good.
They're awesome.
They're very
and
good.
like they go through, like they explain like the gun's ammo, like it's got this burst or whatever with a 5 meter radius.
Yeah.
Badass shit. Like the action scenes though, it's all shaky cam bullshit. Every time you're like, "Wait, what's happening? I'm sick."
Yeah, I do, and that's another thing. I'm so tired of this. I mean, it's okay to like the special effects are good, but that slow motion shit, I thought there was more than it should have had in it because it seemed like they even did that tacky shit where the guy's shooting and he's like, boom, 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 and then like you see the little shells coming down. Like that's been done. Like a 12-year-old on his iPad could do that himself, and it's like Neill just went off. He just went off in slow mo. It's like slow mo, fucking slow mo. He's like, "I'm going to slow mo it now." I don't,
dude.
Neill, calm down.
I love how it became acceptable to use trailer noises in movies now. Have you ever noticed in trailers when there was like a big slow mo or a car was flipping, it'd be like you'd hear like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
Like they do that in movies now. Like they did that in Fast and Furious. They do that in Judge Dredd. And they do that in this. Every time it goes into slow mo, you hear like the trailer noise. That, "Ooh."
You know what? All I gotta say is, God damn it, John Woo. Why the fuck did you start? But yeah, so I just didn't like that. But you're right. The special effects and especially the makeup effects when some of these people get blown up. Like there's a scene where Krueger's half his fucking face gets blown up with a grenade going off.
That's what should happen when Havoc in X-Men First Class shoots his beam at somebody. It should like literally do that exact thing.
I know. Well, if it was rated R and it wasn't kids,
yeah,
it would. But yeah, I mean, and then like there's one scene where he's shooting his gun. And he like blows this guy's head off in his arms and shit. And he's like badass. You know how that was? It was kind of. It made sense. It was kind of realistic in that aspect because you remember in Rambo 4 when he would shoot people and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to make it as realistic. You know, if you shot somebody with a 50 cal, they're gonna get cut in half. Like that's what's gonna happen.
Well, it also reminds me of Aliens. You remember in Aliens when Ripley, is it Ripley?
Yeah.
Yeah. When Ripley gets in that big thing and like use it, it's like a RoboCop looking thing.
Get away from her, you bitch.
It's all practical. It's also practical that it all actually looks real, and that's what Neill Bomkamp's amazing at. Even those guns that shoot like giant lasers, you look like that's what a real laser gun would look like. I feel like
they have a military feel. Like maybe one day the military could adopt something similar to that and use it. Yeah. So that I can get that, and I'm down for that. But the only thing I just think it was so. Like the plot was so fucking dumb sometimes, and there was like we were talking about there. Like you first mentioned it. Plot holes, and you know, one of the biggest ones that got to me was when they go to Elysium, and you started alluding to this before you interrupted yourself. Was when they got there and they're having the 3 guys, Krueger and his 2 mates or whatever mates,
It's a good day.
It's a good day. They go up there, you know, and they basically say, you know, what's in Matt Damon's head? He's gonna cut your fucking head off and use it for himself and take over Elysium. Like that's the big plan. You're gonna cut his head off and use the information. Okay. And so they go up there and they're attacking everything. They're blowing up the Elysium main central area and killing everybody. And then like, there's no fucking police. There's nobody stopping them. There's 3
We're
dudes.
all the robots.
Yes, and they're highly trained. They're elite. I get that, but there's like they had a huge ton of police robots running all over the place early on. And did somebody run out of money? Did the budget? Or was it just happened to be that day that all those robots had to get their oil changed on that particular day? God damn it, Jodie! You're the defense secretary. This should have been thought of. And then like when they finally do get the cops, and there's like 5 dudes in like ski masks. Going, here we go. It's like okay, it makes sense. Why? And then what? I keep forgetting his name. The billionaire guy.
William Fichtner.
I love
His
you.
part should have been way cooler, way bigger.
And you know what? They could have taken Jodie Foster, and Jodie Foster's a great actress. I think she's a good actress. I'm just saying they could have minimized her. She wasn't even in it that much, but they could have minimized her even more and made Fincher.
He was way more interesting. Like his character being like that.
Was it Fincher?
Fichtner. Yeah.
Fichtner.
That he runs that whole factory and stuff, and Matt Damon's like, it's got to be him.
Yeah, and he
like
was,
I thought they were gonna go somewhere really cool with that.
Yeah, and actually William Fincher, and the reason why they actually get his character, they want to take him, is Matt Damon knows it's him that didn't give a fuck when he got exposed to radiation. You know, he basically sees Matt Damon laying on this gurney, and he's like, I don't want him bleeding off because his skin's gonna melt off. Just get him out of here. You know, no compensation. Give him the pill. Say you got 5 days left to live, and get him off my property. So Matt Damon tells Spider, who's the guy that hooks him up, he's like, I'll do this for you. I'll download all this stuff from this billionaire, but it has to be this guy. So he goes after this guy for revenge.
Yeah.
But this guy, William, the actor guy, Fichtner, he's able to show and express like that cold-heartedness of a villain that you think and want from a villain. So Jodie Foster didn't do that. She was trying to be that tough as nails kind of. I hate people, and I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do.
Get over her terrible accent to even focus on whether or not she was doing a good job.
She was okay, but it just wasn't like that guy. That guy actually had a small role, and he did as much with it as he could, which was, I think that it could have been expanded on, but whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. But so the end result is that Matt Damon, like I mentioned, he uploads all this shit. He dies. He sacrifices himself. So everybody, the rich and the poor, there's no more difference because Elysium now recognizes this. The whole central computer recognizes everybody on Earth as a citizen of Elysium. So they start sending out the medical ships to start curing all these people and helping all these people, and that's it.
I just didn't care about that point. It's like,
The
trailer explained it perfectly fine in 3 minutes.
Well, that's why it was straightforward.
And this movie took an hour and a half, 2 hours to do.
Yeah.
I did like at the end though how the way it worked out is all the ships, they actually sent like EMT, like medical ships out to Earth to fix everybody.
Yeah, that was cool. But
why didn't you just fucking do that in the beginning, you dickhead?
Well, because it would have been like a 20-minute movie.
But then again, I mean, if you fix everybody, okay, part of the reason Earth's so fucked up is because it's overpopulated. So when you go down there and you keep everybody from dying, it's only gonna get worse.
Cold-hearted.
Like that machine can't fix hunger.
I know, that's true. Well, I guess we just let him die then. Fuck it. It's like,
right,
the bad guys win. Krueger, yay!
All right, Kevin Costner. What? Man of Steel.
Sometimes you gotta let him go. But yeah, so what was I gonna say? Something about
6.5.
No, not that. Really quick about this. 2 more things. One thing I wanted to mention, and we talked about this a little bit, they rehashed a lot of the fucking effect, like visuals. They rehashed it over and over again. Like, it just seemed like the whole thing was contained. Like, you're supposed to be LA, like, you didn't see the whole world. Like, it's talking about how the world's shit and it's overpopulated and disease. And it's really like you're in this bubble. You can't really go anywhere, and you hit the confines, and you're like, well, this is as far as we go. I mean, at one point, they're like, locked down LA. And I'm like, we're in fucking LA. They're all speaking Spanish. I thought we were in Mexico. Like, I don't even know where we were. And then Elysium itself, you see one shot, like, nice houses and fucking lawns and people. I mean, that's a great yard, but I mean, that's all you see.
They do this quick overcast thing where you can see it all from afar, but they don't really actually show you anything in Elysium except for like somebody's front lawn and like one house.
You know what? And I know
it all looks the exact same.
And people hate Total Recall. I liked it, but the new version of it. But the thing with Total Recall is at least they showed like a bunch of shit. You know, like all this other stuff was going on. They went to different locations and had different visuals and stuff. This one just seemed contained, and that was it.
Yeah.
And the major point that I didn't like about it too is it was really fucking boring. It was like one of those turds that just won't come. Like you're just saying, motherfucker, please go, turd. It's like, you're like, how much longer is it gonna take? Then finally goes, blup. It's like, okay, we're done.
There just wasn't anything that deep beyond what you saw in the trailer. Like story wise, it was just, I mean, the script just wasn't that good in this movie. They didn't make me really care about anybody in the movie. It was just a cool looking movie that was a sci-fi movie and it had Matt Damon in it. So I mean, that's why I give it a 6.5. It was
6.5.
It was good for what it was, but it wasn't anything special.
Flat patty. Flat.
So it's 6.5 is disappointing though for this movie. I expected this to be really good.
And I love Matt Damon's got to be in my top 10 favorite actors. And I thought with him and being in this huge special effects budget movie, and the trailers made it look badass, but it just didn't live up. And maybe that was my fault. Maybe that was your fault. Just maybe we hyped it up too much. But I just don't believe it. Don't believe what you see in the trailers.
Actually,
you know what the truth is? Like,
trailers
I never thought Hollywood would do this. I never thought they would lie.
So that's our score, guys. 6.5 for both of us. Comment below. Let us know what you guys thought of Elysium. If we're wrong, if we're assholes, if we're really smart guys.
I think we're both, or all three. We're wrong, we're assholes, and we're really smart.
But
trifecta.
Yeah, so that's that, guys. We'll see you guys really soon. I'm Mike, and he's Jay.
Don't use box cutters.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie.